Let's do a little bit of Opie Radio. This fucking guy, I tell you, this thing about Opie, this guy cannot stop himself. I mean, how many times we've been checking up on Opie now for what, a solid 3-4 months?
Oh, yeah.
I would say we've been checking up on Opie.
Ever since he turned you down because apparently you slighted him.
Yeah, this is an amazing thing. Yeah, to the new listeners who have never heard this story before, I reached out to Opie and I asked him if he wanted to come on the show. And he was in. He was ready to go.
Yeah.
And he goes, he then searched through our entire channel and found a clip where we semi-trashed him, and he said no.
And what was your trashing?
Here's what the trashing was. I was talking about when Pat Dixon punched Gino Bisconte in the face. And I said, I love Anthony. I think he's hilarious, but he's not a boss. He doesn't know how to run a network, so on and so forth. Yes, he's very funny. Yes, he does a great show, but he's not a boss. He doesn't manage these things well. And then I said, Opie may be a complete no talent and not funny at all, but at least he's got a family and kids and he can kind of run that thing and so on and so forth. I said it was...
You meant it as very upbeat, light, and pretty much complimentary.
This means that it surprised Opie that he wasn't funny.
Right.
How can it surprise you that you're not funny? Opie, that can't sneak up on you.
And then... Oh, you know what, though? He did say at that time, he's like, I'm going to have to pass now because it looks like, you slighted me or something. But he did say we'd revisit it in the fall.
I wasn't going to allow that. I took that as such an insult. Like, oh, the king is going to look down. So I just started shitting on him. Fuck him.
He's checked this out before.
So I've got some Opie clips. Opie has said since the time we've been covering him that I'm done with Opie and Anthony. God, it was 8 years ago. It's so sad. Get over it. I'm not exaggerating. 60% of his videos are about Opie and Anthony.
Oh, yeah, and he does not care, though.
60%. So here's Opie. We got a few short clips for you. This is Opie saying he was against some Opie and Anthony bits. But Mr. Man in Charge apparently never spoke up back then.
No.
He's just going to mention it now.
He just let his show fall apart, in his opinion.
Right.
There were bits that were happening in front of my eyes that I absolutely were completely against. So, yeah, but it was my show, so sure, I take responsibility, yes. I'll be the first one to tell you I'm not fucking perfect. But because of
you won't. I know like 18 people who will tell you you're not perfect before you will.
He's so aggressive how he talks. I never like that. People that are just like, I'm not fucking perfect.
Who are like just aggressively defensive before anyone says anything to them.
Nobody said that, buddy.
You know what it is? Because he anticipates people shitting on him like that because he's heard it from multiple people. The problem is if you hear something from multiple people, it's probably true.
Well, I feel like he's doing that thing where he thinks that if he says it first and he comes off as tough guy about it, that it can't hurt him.
Let me show you, like, Opie needs to work on self-awareness. He defends himself from shots because he hears it from so many people.
Yeah.
Here's what self-awareness is. Ready? I would not be surprised if people check out this show and find that I am a loudmouth dickhead.
Probably accurate.
Enough people have had that opinion of me over the years that is clearly a conclusion you can draw from watching me. I try not to come off that way. I don't see myself that way, but I can completely understand if someone else does.
Eventually, you'll find it endearing.
Right. I have a comic dickishness.
He has a weird...
boyish optimism dickishness.
You have a weird dickish charm about you.
Thank you,
People
I say, with a mouthful of cookie.
Please talk louder.
Every show I did, I kind of understand this world a little bit more.
Ugh, fuck you.
If you want to know the truth, I hated the pedo humor garbage that the Opie and Anthony show did.
Oh, that's weird because it was really funny. That's probably why you hated it. And it was Jimmy doing a funny character that you had nothing to do with. Opie always hated the bits that Opie had nothing to do with or that he didn't get. It wasn't that Opie's this great judge of humor. It's that Opie's remarkably insecure.
I think that I had just said on a previous evening show that he basically didn't like anything anyone else came up with because he couldn't come up with anything.
And he had to sit there and watch them be funny, and he was so insecure, he was going, oh my God, does this mean I'm not necessary on my own show?
No, let's just sit there and play Candy Crush.
I think it was Jimmy who said, the tragedy of Opie is that he doesn't even understand that he was needed for a certain thing and he couldn't be comfortable with it.
He didn't apply himself.
And I should have spoke up more.
Ugh, no, you would have ruined the show earlier.
That's on me. There were a lot of things on the Opie and Anthony show that I was against. And it's on me that I didn't speak up or speak up more. That's on me. 100%. And I'll also say that I wasn't perfect.
What?
I did horrific things as part of the Opie and Anthony show. Absolutely.
What?
Oh, you mean the things that made you so famous?
You mean when you stomped out that homeless guy's cake? No, Opie, don't second guess yourself. That was the only time you could ever actually be entertaining.
Absolutely. But a person could evolve and grow and have different ways of looking at things as they get older.
Oh, yeah, Opie, that's you 100%. Growing, maturing, adapting, understanding. I mean, that's you. That's got you written all over it.
He's wise now.
One piece of maturity and growing that Opie did is he's let go of some crazy-ass conspiracy theories that he has.
Such as?
Just kidding.
I saw a video of Anthony calling into your show after he got fired, and you seemed to get along. Did he do something messed up after that? I'm very behind on all this.
No, you got super fucking, I'll answer that. You got super fucking paranoid, and then you were a dick to do business with, so they didn't finish the deal with you.
You sure are, Blue Apron. The answer would be that I don't know what happened. We were, after not talking for 2 years after he got fired for his racist rant.
Way to stand up for your partner.
I know.
Way to stand up for your partner.
And you know, he probably had no problem with it at all until Kumiya got fired. And then suddenly he had to look like the guy who had a problem with it to save his own ass.
He didn't publicly have a problem with it. Privately, he did not like the Opie race rants. He didn't like it. But he didn't like it even when it was funny because, again, it took attention off of him, but he wasn't good enough to hold people's attention.
We started talking again, and it was going well. And I had a vision that we could somehow keep the brand going, maybe in a different way, not doing a full-time show anymore. But certainly there was enough there to get something going and keeping the brand going. And then out of nowhere, he just started hating on me again.
You know,
doubt that.
People like this are always the ones in the wrong because they oversimplify it like a child. They go, well, he just started hating on me for no reason.
It's a very childish explanation, like when their friend suddenly doesn't like them, you know, but then you're sitting there as a parent like, well, I'm sure something happened. What happened?
But hey, Opie's grown. All right?
It's very wise.
He's grown.
And that was the end of that. Was that before or after he made Twitter accounts mocking you?
Oh, by the way, this is also something Opie said in the past, and you'll be able to tell here he's totally let it go. He thinks Anthony created fake Twitter accounts to fuck with him.
I feel like the guy had more things on his plate.
I mean,
you know,
it seems a little conspiratorial, Ope.
Yeah, Anthony also had fake accounts attacking me on a regular basis. This is all the stuff that has been coming out because what's really interesting is
Opie does this thing where he just says shit and he thinks that people are buying it. Meanwhile, he's the only one who believes it. And I will give him that. He does believe that. In his mind, he's not lying.
Okay.
He pissed off a few old listeners, and a few of these people have really given me some real good inside dirt. And I know they're credible. I told the Pal Talk story.
Why? No, they're credible because they told you what you wanted to hear. That's why they're credible, Ope. Let's not lie.
I think it was yesterday or the day before, and he also had fake accounts just literally attacking me.
Sounds like a guy who's over it, doesn't it?
It does. I forget how long ago it was now that he said he's over the Opie and Anthony thing, and he doesn't want to talk about it ever again.
It's been at least months, if not years.
It's not part of his life anymore. Yeah. Best day of his life when that show ended.
Meanwhile, it's the only thing that gets over 500 views on his channel. We have more views than the Opie radio channel.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'm not bragging about that. That's sad for him.
Do you think the show ever found a groove when it was just you and Jim? No. I think me and Jim Norton could have had a really good radio show, but he just wasn't into it.
He didn't like you. I'm sorry, Ope. Just he didn't like you.
Like the money. He liked the big raise he got after Anthony got fired. He liked the exposure because we were still talking to a lot of people.
Okay, as anyone should.
He was on the fence. So he was supporting Anthony while doing a radio show with me, knowing.
Why can't you do that? You two didn't break up under nasty terms. Anthony ran his mouth on Twitter and he got himself in trouble. Why can't you support Anthony and still do a show with you? You fucking battered woman, you?
He does seem like the kind of guy that would make you choose allegiance, though.
Why are you still defending Anthony? I don't know. We all did a show together for 20 years, and I thought it would be cool to get the guys back so the fans liked us too. That's the other thing.
You would think.
If you start making it you against me, you split the audience, which is a terrible decision, Mr. I've been doing this since I was 18.
Knowing that me and Anthony didn't get along, and he was not all in. He wasted my fucking time.
Oh, God, I hate that
Wow.
talk.
I just posted
hate
a clip, and
I've never seen a less talented person have more of an ego.
Yes, and he's so bitter how he talks. It's so off-putting.
Guys, I got something gross for you. I'd rather listen to Brendan Schaub than Opie. I think he's more interesting.
I think I told you that last week, yeah.
Brendan Schaub's more interesting than Opie.
I actually cropped him out. I posted it on my Facebook page, Opie Radio fans. It's Jim Brewer just killing. Trying to find some of these old video clips. I'm posting them. It's not the only thing I'm doing. I'm also doing new material all the time. But I'm
Look at that. He's being defensive before anyone says anything.
He just sounds whiny.
He is. He's a little bitch.
He's whining.
also trying to find some of this stuff from the past that I've kind of forgotten about. Recently, I found Anthrax doing Comfortably Numb. It's absolutely amazing. It's on my Facebook page.
Sounds
Opie Radio
exhilarating, Ope.
And I found this clip of Brewer talking about how politics is just like wrestling, and he is giving it his all during this rant. It's a perfect example of what I went through. Jimmy and Ann can talk all they want about what they went through with me, but I certainly have my own beefs.
Nobody doubts that.
Rant that is absolutely amazing that anyone else would enjoy. Jimmy's just on his phone like this, not participating, not laughing, no energy whatsoever. Obviously doesn't want to fucking be there. And there's a few times Brewer's kind of looking over at him like, what the fuck's going on with that? As he's in the middle of this great rant, how politics is just like wrestling. And that's a really good example of the bullshit I felt like I had.
Opie, I mean, no offense to Opie here, but Jimmy was a prisoner. He couldn't leave. He would have been in breach of contract. So he couldn't go anywhere.
To finish it.
So there's nothing Jimmy could have done. He liked the money. It was probably well into the six figures. It was a great gig.
Well, yeah, and then Opie sits there and pretends that he shouldn't have been about the money or the exposure.
Right. What do you want Jimmy to do? He had to do a show with you. I'm sure it made him absolutely sick that he had to do a show with you. He fucking hated it. You guys fought on numerous occasions on the air. He did not like you anymore, but he had to be there. So, I mean, I'm just saying, Opie's we've been checking on him for months now, and every time he says he's let it go, he's over it, he's grown. I just wanted to check in with how the letting it go thing was going tonight.
And we can still report that he has indeed not let it go.
Not seeming to let it go.
But he's trying. He's trying really hard.
I have one more thing I want you to watch tonight. Chronicles of, I can't read that name. I'm sorry. Of Gay F-Word Tree.
A bundle of sticks tree.
A bundle of sticks tree. Is spliced together. Stuttering John, Opie, and Tony Michaels as though they were doing a show together. And I have to say, I'm going to put the link in the chat here so you guys can go follow this guy and you can watch this video. We're going to leave you with this tonight. This is Stuttering John, Opie, and Tony Michaels doing a show together. Enjoy.
Baby. All right, Greg, how are you, pal?
Good morning to everybody and welcome. And let's do this. A little zen in the morning and a little cheers.
And Chad Zumock, how are you, pal?
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Chad Zumock was in there.
Yeah.
Just because this is a red Solo cup, it doesn't mean it's booze. It's lemonade.
Well, whatever.
Oh, I keep telling people I'm handsome.
First sip of coffee, baby.
I'm so happy that you guys are here.
I wanted to take that first sip about an hour ago when I woke up, but I like taking the first sip on the live stream.
What the hell? I was going to post my link. Well, I'll just say it. What is it? You know what? I'll post the link.
This really is the best of these three podcasting. This is what their shows are like, and then you put them together.
The dream team.
Oh, Chad is such a tool.
You want to donate to me and the program as we continue. How are you, Greg?
And then the John
All right,
tech
Greg.
issues.
Nothing better than a mic that don't work.
No.
All right, Greg. I can't hear you, my brother. Turn your computer mic on. All right. If you want to fix it, just you might have to log back in and then fix it and then log back in. Okay. All right. Don't worry, Greg. I have time. In the meantime, Chad Zumock, as you all know, I have my shirt on backwards. All right. Naked moments, everybody.
No.
Here we go.
I want in on this.
Geez. Here we go. Naked moment.
What the fuck?
For everybody to see. Don't worry, the camera adds 15 to 20 pounds. It felt like it was on backwards.
What is on that shirt now?
All right, back to normal.
The Three Blithering Idiots podcast. Opie, Chad Zumock, and Stuttering John. So again, we'll put the link in the chat there. Oh, that was a lot of fun. There you go.
The show we didn't know we needed.